Hi guys, today is Sunday, December 1st, 2024, and I wanted to record a video to just review what my bias is so far going into the week and also review quite a few tickers. So if you're in the Discord, I already posted most of my thoughts about these tickers in the Trade Ideas channel, but figured I would also record a video to complement what I wrote there, just to maybe go a little bit further in detail, just so you can better understand what I'm looking at. Well, here, let's jump in. Some of this is planned, some of it's just going to be impromptu. So let's see. Yeah. So here's the daily of ES. And if you're not aware, even if I'm trading SPX or SPY or QQQ, I'm still analyzing and watching ES and NQ. The reason why I like charting futures is because you get the pretty much a continuous price action. And then since I also trade off of ICT concepts, it helps me just get a better precision for entries and exits, and then just a better idea of bias. So if you need to see price levels on SPX, SPY, QQQ, let me know. I could put those in the chat as well. But for the most part, while I'm reviewing this video, I'm going to be focusing on ES and NQ. I recorded a breaker block or unicorn video just right before this, so I already have this set up. But what you could see here is that on the daily, it's very bullish. And so we created a high, we created a lower low, higher high, came down to test this fair value gap in this breaker, which is considered a unicorn, and then pushed up. And so now what you could see, what we're doing is, so we had buy side up here that was swept, right? Well, I wouldn't say swept, but we tapped it. And so interesting to see what we do from here. Before we even get there, the other thing I wanted to call out is that we have a weekly imbalance that was created last week. Typically, weekly imbalances like to get tested. So that's what I'm kind of thinking right off the bat. I was bearish here, actually. I was slightly bearish going into just the beginning of this week. All right. So yeah, weekly imbalance, and then there's also a daily imbalance here. And what I mean by that, you see how the bodies don't touch? I don't think we're going to make it down there. So what I wanted to show you here, the reason why I brought these fibs, so these are the fib extensions, and this was drawn from this bottom to the top here to the bottom here. And we can see here we are currently rejecting this golden pocket extension, which happens to be after we took out this buy side level. So that's why I was kind of expecting a small push up maybe Monday, followed by a push down. I'd like to see this imbalance get tested, and let's see if there's a fib retracement that gets lined up with this. Let me hide this again. So that would be a bounce off of the 236. We could completely test this and make it down to the 382. We could go further. You could always make it back down to, so we could see something like this to retest that fair value gap again. That will allow us to fill that imbalance. And then that gets us back down into the discount range. So that's definitely possible too. I know everyone's super bullish going into December, and I'm pretty bullish as well, but it would be pretty clever to shake out some people early this week and make people nervous, but might not happen, but just something that I'm watching for. We look at NQ. Let me get rid of all this. So the interesting thing about NQ is that let's go back to ES, right? Made new highs. So that's called an SMT divergence. It's bearish. See how NQ didn't even come close. Bearish divergence. So something just to keep an eye on, kind of that could play into the pullback we see maybe early this week. And then I think we could start seeing upside even as soon as like Tuesday afternoon, if I had to guess. Okay, so the other thing, so what else I'm watching? IWM. So if you've been watching my videos, I've been bullish on IWM because it looked to me like it was in clear accumulation on the weekly. I even have the labels here. We had this all-time high buy side that got taken out last week. And so now we are retracing a bit. Obviously, this push up, we left quite a few gaps. We have a gap here, imbalance here, gap here. So we'd like to see some of this get filled. Maybe make it back down to the golden pocket. So that's kind of, now that we took out buy side, what I would like to see, something like that. I do think that we can make it back up above buy side, make it to at least this 1.618 at 262.26, but this red box is actually my target. I think December could get pretty wild, maybe even a little bit of January. So I think we can get up close to this $300 range. So that's what I'm tracking on IWM. I think small caps could get a little bit squeezy again. So hopefully we'll see. All right. So IWM, the other one that we've been monitoring and we did have a position that we scaled out of is Square. So Square, so I have a chart just dedicated to these labels that I'm trying to track for everyone, make it a little bit easier. Square to me, also in clear accumulation. You had a nice volume pop, bullish volume pop here to get us out of the spring, LPS. Now we're starting to see volume really kick in for this SOS that I believe we're in after taking out. We took out this automatic reaction buy side level here. So we are retracing a bit, but you have there or breaker. So it could come down. Let me go back to, so, all right. What I am looking for, it's pretty messy, huh? Where to start? So, whoops. That's why I should lock everything down. All right. So what I like here about, you could see here, so monthly, sorry, I was just looking, this could be a unicorn setup, but you have a low, a high, lower low. Didn't quite make the higher high here, but came back down, tested this monthly fair value gap. And actually, it came close. It didn't exactly test. I was going to say you could argue that it tested, see, from here to here's inverse fair value gap. Not a big deal. We didn't need to test that, but came back down to the discount range of the monthly fair value gap. And now you're really starting to see volume kick in. I am really bullish on this over the next few weeks, but now that we are here, what we have to look at is we did create a weekly fair value gap here, so we have to be mindful of that. Let's just mark that just in case. Yeah. So daily, what I'm looking for here. So few things that we just have to watch out for, right? So obviously this green box is a big supply zone. This is where we had the automatic reactions, those sell-offs. So we're gonna look for SOS here. So we have a daily fair value gap here, right? And I believe it was a 4-hour breaker, yeah. And then so that's being tested. That daily candle looks like it wants to keep coming down. So if you draw a fib retracement from the bottom here to the top here, you have the golden pocket. So you have the 0.5 right at the top of this breaker. and then you have the golden pocket down here. I'm gonna start, most likely I'm gonna start adding longs this week. I don't think, like, let's just look at what fibs could bring us if we go from here. So 382 brings us down to this weekly fair value gap to test. Sorry, I'm getting hot. So something to look out for. We could, after going from here, we could make it down to this 382. And seeing that type of retracement would be kind of expected after taking out such a significant buy side level. So I'm actually, I know I already posted in the channel, but I am kind of leaning more towards this. I think this is what I actually originally had. And then when I was analyzing it earlier, I was like, might actually not come down that far. We have an order block down here. See, this is where like the fair value gaps can get a little bit much, but then you have a daily fair value gap here too, which happens to be where there's a breaker, and it's the golden pocket. All right, so if things get really bad, you can get down to the 77 level. I don't know. I don't think that that's going to happen. I'm thinking 83, 61. Let's see what happens. But either way, long term, over the next few weeks and couple months, I think we tackle at least this buy side level here. Now that would bring us back up to this golden pocket retracement, which was drawn from all-time highs to here. The other thing that I think is interesting is that you do have relative equal highs up here. So relative equal highs, if you don't know, tend to act like a magnet. Would be pretty wild if we made it all the way back up there from, I mean, we've seen crazier things in the market, right? But these, for the most part, these are my price targets. So we have this buy side level up here around 160, right? Or sorry, 150. You have this weekly fair value gap here, which happens to be right where this 2.618 extension is, around 182. And then you can get really freaky up here. So think about how long this accumulation has been going on for, since May 2022, really. So, yeah, I think we can get a lot out of this. So I'm really bullish on Square. I'm going to start repositioning again, most likely this week, if we get what I hope to see. All right, so the other one that actually looks very similar to Square is Roblox. And I personally have never played this before, but you can see that. Okay, start locking those. The setup is very, very similar. Had this buy side level here from this automatic reaction, coming down into this fair value gap and breaker. If we draw fibs, we can make it to maybe this 0.5. So I'd be looking to go long, probably around 46 $46. But another one that has some pretty wild price targets. So again, another one that has buy side right at the golden pocket. So I'd be targeting that. That's going to be my initial target. And then we'll start making our way up. So there's a small weekly fair value gap here at the 786. Another one that's been in accumulation since May 2022. Wow, this one's just like identical to the Square almost, except for the relative equal highs. Yeah, so for this one, my main target is this $74 range. There is, I believe that's a monthly imbalance. Yeah, monthly imbalance, right? Monthly imbalance around 102, which I wouldn't be surprised if we test at some point as well. So that would be, it would be tough to get there. You have this breaker here, and then you can see this is a monthly fair value gap too, which happens to be right at this buy side level. So I have high confidence we make it up to at least there. Okay. And you can even see it looks like it's starting to bottom out. I don't know. I'm not convinced yet. I think we could still push down to, yeah, like this $46 level. This is also the golden pocket extension, which is interesting. And I believe that is drawn. Let's see where. Yeah, so drawn from this bottom to this top to this bottom here. That would bring us to this golden pocket extension. So, all right. Next on the other thing I want to mention about both Square and Roblox, if this is in fact SOS, which it should be, following SOS, we should see a lot of volume start really coming in and see it really start pushing. So that's something that I'm looking forward to. I don't know if Lemonade's a great example, but something like this, right? You could see really start having volume come in. This is another one that very similar look, right? This one's just super bullish to me. I have some pretty wild price targets on this one. We won't spend too much time on this. I was originally thinking we would retrace from here, but given this candle and the volume, we might make it up to this golden pocket and then retrace. But ultimately, I do think we could take out this buy side level out around 117. And this is also a candidate to possibly see new all-time highs as well. I have commons for this. I'm planning on holding for a while. If you think about it, insurance shouldn't really get impacted too much if there is a recession down the road. All right, so Roblox, ULTA is another one I thought looked interesting. I don't see a lot of people talking about it right now. Obviously, has been just ripping. This will probably start distributing at some point soon, but I think that there's still a lot of potential here. And so obviously this chart looks different than the ones that we've been viewing so far. The ones that we've viewed so far are what, in my opinion, pretty crystal clear accumulation schematics. This one's different, but I still think that there's opportunity here. And so what you have, all over the place. So monthly, you can see bounced off of this 382 almost to the penny, which so far is very bullish. You need to see continuation now, but let me go back to the monthly. You also have a monthly fair value gap above, which will at least get tested. What I would love to see is for this to flip into an inverse fair value gap. So eventually push, reject up here, come down, test, and then head to at least this golden pocket. This one also, I should note, earnings, I believe, are tomorrow. Is tomorrow? Yeah. Really nice reaction here on the weekly. So I remember now, actually. Doesn't this look kind of familiar to you? We have accumulation here on the daily here. And so would like to start pushing up to these buy side levels, which would be considered like automatic reactions. Go into SOS right under this fair value gap, then push, and then test this as an inverse fair value gap. What I would look for when it comes to entry, we don't need to retrace from here, but figured since there is some liquidity here, we might retrace soon, probably push up a little bit here. And there are some gaps that we've left behind. Don't need to fill those, but I was thinking we may get back to this discount range. So we'll look to go long, most likely around 365. And then what I'm targeting, All right, so targets would be, first off would be this monthly fair value gap, take out these buy side levels. Then, what did I have? 466. The discount range of this monthly fair value gap, which there's an order block right above it. And then I would like to see us start taking out this all-time high level and push to this golden pocket extension. If things get really crazy, can start making our way up to this one. So yeah, I don't think this one's done yet. I think that there's plenty of room. That daily looks like clear accumulation to me. Again, I would like to see this one start really pushing. Obviously, it's been doing great over the past couple years. So, all right, RIVN. So RIVN, I think, looks pretty solid. You can see this bullish volume really starting to come in. Would like to think that this was the bottom here, and that we're building a market maker buy model. So it should start rounding out up here and start pushing up. What I like is that monthly put in a higher low. So what I would like to see here now is for us to create a higher high. And ideally, it would give us a unicorn setup where we really start pushing up here, make a higher high, create a fair value gap. We'll have this breaker inside of it, and then that would give us our unicorn setup to go long. And also, it would be a breakout out of this falling channel. But I think this one looks great. So what I would be targeting price-wise is 15.15 first. From there, maybe come back down to test this monthly fair value gap here, and then start pushing up. I think we take out at least this buy side level here around 1885. You can see that there's a daily gap here, which happens to be the golden pocket, or sorry, weekly gap, which gives me even more conviction that we're going to at least make it up to this golden pocket. So 25.40 range would be my target, because I would like to, wait, where did I come up with? 50-ish, which I believe is the 707, yeah. 25.53. That would allow us to take out this buy side. There's an order block here, and that would allow us to fill this gap. And algorithms tend to like the 707, so that's why I'm targeting that. Could get even more bullish long term, but for now, that's what I'm focused on. This one has been a beast. Like, look at his monthly. It's just been out of control. Just such a beautiful model here. So if you draw the fibs, this thing is currently at buy side, which is previous all-time highs, which happens to be the 1.618. But if you look at this volume and you look at this candle, I just don't think this is done. It could easily take out this $55 range. So maybe what I was thinking when I was looking at this earlier was that maybe we can keep pushing, but we start losing a little bit of steam, come down back to this range, and then maybe keep pushing. Would like to see a low volume retracement. Let's see, like, I'm just completely making this up since we haven't even been there yet, but like, yeah, that would bring us, like, we can come to like the 382. But this one's going to be on the watch list. I'm not going to play this just yet. I want to wait to see if we do get a nice retracement. Obviously, there's a lot of talk now about quantum computing being the future. So this is one that I'm curious if I should just, if we get to that retracement target, just start accumulating commons and just kind of forgetting about them and hoping that it pays off long term. don't want to spend too much time on that one. The other one that I've been watching very closely is ASTS for a while. Like if you look at this one, it has been a monster. And then now monthly is bull flagging, lower volume, declining on lower volume. Would really like to see this one start taking off again. So if you look weekly, I actually think it's cleaner on the daily. So we're in the daily fair value gap. Also testing supply as demand. And another one that I believe is building. I already have these. Let me see. I guess I remember them. It's building a market maker buy model. Might just need to be a little bit patient with this one, but I already started adding a January position. I might need to push it out. But I do like that it's holding here. I don't want to see it make a new low. I want to start seeing it. So we can really start pushing up here. Retesting here. This looks like accumulation to me too. Build out an SOS here and start ripping back towards all-time high buy side. And then we have these fib levels here too. So these are my targets over the next few weeks. If we can really start going, we need to see volume come in. But I do think we can make it as high as this one or even this 1.618 over the next few months. This is what I'm just trying to be patient with. Again, really nice consolidation after such a massive move. And in my opinion, if this thing was done, it would have just fallen really hard, but it hasn't. What I also like is you can see here we had this daily imbalance here and we filled that. So looks really healthy. Again, just one that maybe we have to be a little bit more patient for. I might even look at comments for this one as well. I'm not going to spend, everyone's talking about Tesla. I love it. I think it's messy right now, but this 3-month chart looks beautiful. Get a test of fair value gap. Monthly looks great as well. Didn't quite take out. I think that's a weekly buy side level. Yeah. So what I like about Tesla and why I'm so bullish on it, and I have been bullish on it for the past couple months, is that you can see that it generated all this buy side liquidity, which it took out this one, and this was also relative equal highs. But it generated all this liquidity during this push down. Looks like accumulation here. Kind of reminds me of that ASTS one we were just looking at a little bit. Daily, I like that. Sorry, I don't know if I like this setting or not yet. I wanted it, and now I don't know how I feel about it. Probably not good to have it on all the time. So I don't think we're out of the woods yet in thinking that. I was thinking like this 295 level could get tested. You have this imbalance here. But what I do like is that it's holding up relatively nicely so far after such a big push up that I think it's just going to go from here. Premiums are juiced, but this is one that I'm very bullish on over the next few months. I think we're definitely going to see all-time highs. This 456.30 level and the 652.77 level, I think, happen in 2025. Well, this first level could happen by end of year. But yeah, let's see. So RIVN and Tesla obviously bullish, both in the same sector. Then we have Apple. I just wanted to cover real quick as well. So Apple had these relative equal highs that I've been calling out. It wasn't a rising channel, so I wasn't sure if it was going to fall out. Held up okay. Initially, for the past few weeks, I've had this path drawn that will probably take out these relative equal highs and then reject at the golden pocket extension. Sorry, heat's hot. With how bullish I think the market's about to get, we might push higher. Could even make it up to this 269 level. This just isn't one that I'm personally playing because I do think that Apple might be one of the ones that leads the way when the market eventually corrects. Because I do think if you've watched any of my videos, you know that I believe that Apple is in macro distribution and this is UTAD. And so I think we get maybe one final push up, but then I'm pretty bearish on it. So I'm looking forward to playing the downside on it more than I'm looking forward to playing the upside on it. There's just other options, better options out there, in my opinion. So I'm not going to spend too much time on this, but just wanted to, if you've watched any of my videos or heard me talk about Apple, just wanted to clarify that we could push up higher than this. So Google has been interesting lately. Google, I believe, is also building a buy model here. Have this gap here. It tried to test it, but bounced off. There's this monthly imbalance that it also filled, which I like. And there's all those buy side levels above that I believe will get taken out. So this is one I actually like an entry here, a retest of this monthly imbalance to go long. I do think that we can make it up to this 1.618 over the next couple months. But I do think that we take out these buy side levels relatively soon. Google obviously has been lagging compared to some of the other tech names. So this is one that I think will catch up. NVIDIA. So just wanted to call out again that this is my price target. This was drawn from standard deviation. So I use fibs strictly taken from the Japan sell-off a few months ago. I used that because that to me was the manipulation move. And that's how I came up with these fibs or this target. What I like about NVIDIA is you had a 4-hour fair value gap here, which we pushed up above, retested it as an inverse fair value gap, pushed up again, tested it again, came up, took out this buy side level, created new all-time highs, and then tested this level again. And it keeps holding up. So what I think, if we're not going to make it back down to these levels here, which I don't think we're going to do now. So also bounce at the 0.5, which is the discount range. I think let's see if it comes back down to this imbalance, fills this gap here, and then would look for long around 135.38. Start heading to this 156 level. Anywhere between 156.31 and 171.39. I know that's a pretty large range, but either way, the point is this thing could really start pushing again soon. I think I like AMD better, even though AMD's a piece of crap. What you can see here on the weekly. Sorry, it's so messy. I don't even know. But all right, so we had this supply zone, tested it as demand, then started creating this ascending broadening wedge, which obviously is bearish, but you have previous highs here. I do like that it's bouncing off. It's bouncing off of this demand area. Technically put in a higher low. And so what I would like to see now is I would like to start seeing volume come in and start heading towards the top of that broadening wedge. But more short term, what I'm looking for price wise is to start taking out these buy side levels and imbalances. So you have an imbalance here, you have a gap up here, you have this weekly fair value gap, you have this imbalance over here. Thing anymore. All right, so short term, or sorry, yeah, I guess for shorter term over the next few weeks, what I'm looking for is this 153.20, or sorry, this 142.82 area, and then really this 150.79 area. From here, watch out for this 153 area. And then I would like to see us start pushing back up to this previous all-time high, 164, before really making it up to these new all-time highs in this range. So 180 plus. The market, I think, will have to be pretty bullish for it to start pushing its way all the way back up here. But let's see what this can do. Let's see what NVDA can do. I think this will probably outperform NVIDIA. I think money's rotating out of NVIDIA, but let's see. What are we doing on time here? All right. So that covers everything that I posted in the trade ideas. Let me just see. Let me just make sure there. Yeah. I wanted to see if there were any other requests. Yeah, I hope that was helpful. Hope you see what I see. Let me know if you have any questions or any feedback, any thoughts in general, if there's any charts that you would like me to look at going into this week. Again, just to quickly review, I think we'll see a little bit of selling pressure at the beginning of the week, maybe even just tomorrow on Monday, followed by, like, I think it makes sense to shake out some folks who are super bullish going into December. And then I think the real Santa rally starts soon. So thanks, guys. I hope you have a great night.